Hey guys, Salty Flyer, welcome back to the channel. So as I look outside and it's snowing yet again, which is kind of rare for this part of town, and I got no more parts to put on the bike for the moment because, money and stuff. I thought about a question that a couple of friends of mine asked me, and I thought I would go into it a little bit on the channel here in case anyone cared. So the friends of mine we're talking about, they both are riding kind of mid-2000 Sportsters. They've thrown some throwover bags on them. It's a husband and wife team, and now they're getting into touring, and they want to get into touring bikes, or touring leg. The wife is already in there, in it to win it. She's got her lowrider ST picked out. Now that the 25s are out with the bigger motor, she's all about it with the bags, and I think she's set. I think that's going to be a great fit for her. So my boy, he wants to know, hey man, what's the difference between a road glide and a street glide? So I figured I would compare the 2425, they're the same other than colors really. The 2425 street glides and the 2425 road glides, and tell you what are the advantages and disadvantages of each, and kind of how I came to my decision to buy a street glide, and maybe help you make your decision. So let's get to that right now. Awesome. So let's start about what is actually the same. Because most of everything from the neck bearing back, honestly, on the bikes is the same. It is the same 117 engine with the liquid cooled heads, same frame, so the touring frame, and that whole chassis, same wheels, same transmission, same exhaust, same saddlebags, you're hearing that point. Even to the point of having the same 12-inch digital infotainment touchscreen display. They're the same. Now, if you're looking at older models, just understand if you're comparing road glides to street glides, you got to compare same to same. So roughly same model year, and then back in the day, there were more flavors. There was more trim levels. So compare an ST to an ST or compare a Special to a Special if you want an apples to apples comparison. But for the 24s and the 25s, there's one level. It's either road glide or street glide. And those are the similarities. Other similarities include they both have a fairing. Some people hear the term. If you don't know what that is, don't be afraid. Uncle Salty will help you out. A fairing is just that body panel piece that's attached to the front of the motorcycle in some manner, and that'll become important in a minute, that deflects wind around the rider, over your head, and keeps you shielded from the wind and the weather. That's all a fairing is. It also usually contains the headlight and your kind of dash panel facing the rider. So those are the similarities. They're pretty similar. Couple of differences though. So in the case of the street glide, we'll start there because that's my favorite. In the case of the street glide, it is the fairing is mounted to the forks. So it's attached to the front end of the bike at the forks. What does that mean? When you turn the handlebars, the fairing turns with it. Points the headlight in the direction you're going, it's attached that way. So street glides have some advantages and some disadvantages. Big advantage for the street glide in the 24-25 model year, it's lighter. 811 pounds in running order, which is about, I believe, 27 pounds lighter than the road glide. So that's an advantage. Also, an advantage I have found with the street glide is that because the dash is closer to you. So if you have shorter arms with the 24s and 25s, it's a touchscreen. Yeah, you can use the Huyas on the handlebars, but it's a touchscreen. So the ability for the dash here, vice out here, means that you can reach out and touch those buttons a lot easier. They're a little closer to you. In some cases, if you're nearsighted, easier to read. Also, I have found, and this is my personal experience, when I test rode both of them this summer, weirdly enough for Washington, it rained the day I test rode them. I found that the street glide's kind of easier to hunker down behind that fairing and just feel a little bit more protected from rain and wind. So it's got that advantage. What are the disadvantages of the street glide? Big among them is the fact that it's low-speed handling. It can be heavier because when you're turning those bars in the parking lot or backing out of your garage or whatever, you're turning also the weight of the fairing because remember, the fairing is attached to the fork, so it turns with the bars. Also, if you're in a really bad windy situation, so windy, you're riding on the freeway, it's windy, it's nasty, it's gnarly, and that wind starts catching that fairing as a sail, It'll definitely, you'll feel it in the bars, you'll get kind of this action, and you'll also feel it in the fact that the wheel will start twitching because the fork is being basically shaken by that fairing like a sail. So that's something to consider as well. Some people say that heaviness also applies a little bit in slow speed handling. It's a little harder to get the bars around if you're really doing some U-turny kind of things in the parking lot, or you're doing your Boss Your Motorcycle or Jerry Palladino, those guys who do those crazy, amazing things by riding slow speed on the bikes, whatever else have you. If you're going to do that, some say that that may be a disadvantage. I'll tell you that two of them I think were conquered in the 24 and 25 model year, and that's because the aerodynamics of that fairing are so much better now. I've got it up to as fast as Harley Davidson, and the law will allow me to ride it, and I never felt that flutter, and I don't find it to be very hard to handle in the parking lot at all. So that's the street glide. So what about the road glide? Well, the road glide, basically, the fairing is attached to the frame. So it is the bars come up, the triple clamps come up, and they go through there. The headlight doesn't move, and the fairing doesn't move when you turn the bars. The bars and the wheel turn independent of the fairing. It's locked in facing forward. The street glide has a nickname for its fairing called the Batwing. I personally think it looks more like a manta ray, but Batwing is what it is, tradition. The road glide is basically known as the shark nose, because I guess it kind of, you squint and whatever, it kind of looks like the nose of a shark. I don't know. You tell me. But it is preferred by some people for some of the following advantages. Some people, one of the big advantages, name one person who owns a Harley who doesn't change the bars out. Exactly. So to change the bars out on a street glide, I haven't done it yet. You got to take the whole fairing off. You got to take the fairing apart and take it completely off to get at the triple clamp to get the bars off. Change the bars, get everything hooked back up, and then put the fairing together around it. For the most part, with the road glide, you don't have to do that because it comes up through the middle, and you can, especially on the modern ones now, where there are no gauge clusters or anything attached to that dash to the handlebars, you can just open up that clamp, take the bars out. It's a lot simpler to change bars out. So that's kind of advantage road glide. Also, all of the same disadvantages of the street glide are advantages to the road glide. Some people feel like the handling feels lighter because you're turning the bars and not turning the whole fairing, and you don't get necessarily that buffet on the road. Aesthetics, it's your choice, man. Like, I think the street glide, looks better. That's why I bought one. And some people like the road glide. Disadvantages are the road glide is heavier. That fairing is heavier. In fact, I want to say it's about 837 pounds, so about 27 pounds heavier in running weight than the street glide. So is that a lot? I don't know. It's a percentage. It's not nothing. And also, I found it to be that the dash was very far away, a little harder to see without my reading spectacles on. I mean, you can make it higher contrast or everything else. Not a deal breaker by any stretch. And also, I never felt as kind of tucked in the bed, whether like I could kind of tuck away. I felt very out. The bike felt big. This is me. Some people love that. Some people don't. Some people don't know, that kind of don't care one way or the other. Hard to tell, right? So that's kind of the road glide. It's its own thing. I'll have a little thing pop up here. I want to say if they're not the same price, they're very close to the same price. I feel like they should be the same price for starting MSRP. So there's really not a big difference there. So how did I come to the street glide? I rode them both, and I felt I liked the street glide better. It's more traditional. That Batwing fairing's been around for a long time. I just like the styling. I also like the feel. I will tell you this, please don't make your decision based on looks alone. Ride the bikes. Ride both of them. If you're buying new and your dealership is worth its salt, they will let you ride the bike. I mean, assuming you have your license and everything else. They'll let you ride both of them, and they'll let you do a side-by-side comparison. Hell, they let me take them out, one, then the other, then one again, to make sure I was sure on the street glide. So that's how I made my decision. I will tell you, also, the other reason you ride them was the Fat Boy that I used to own. I sold my old bike when I went on deployment, so I had no bike. Came home, and then had some jeans money rattling around my jeans, and I was going to go buy me a new bike. First new motorcycle ever. And I was dead set on buying a Dyna Fat Bob in 2010. That's what I was going to buy. And I bought the the Softail Fat Boy Low. Why? I rode the Dyna, and then I rode that one. I like that one better. So go out there and test a lot of things. What you should do is test one bike that completely is not something, just to give it a shot, see what happens. But I mean, Street Glide v Road Glide, I mean, how are you going to pick? I'm going to pick victory for Street Glide, because I bought one. But it's up to you, really. They're both amazing bikes. I think the technology is awesome, and I think you're going to really be happy no matter what you do. So, this comes to the part of the video where I ask you if you wouldn't mind liking. If you like what you saw, please like it, and please subscribe. It helps me grow my little channel, my little corner of the internet a little bigger, and I can talk to more people and hopefully do more cool stuff in the future. If you made it this far in the video and you didn't like it, well, thank you for sticking around and listening to me drone on for a bit. We appreciate that. But until the end, salty, keep the shiny side up, and we'll see you next time. Peace.